In today's video, you guys, we are going to be continuing to work on this. I don't know how far we'll get in this video because I am waiting on some parts, but we'll get into that in just a second. If you guys don't know, the 8HP90 Hellcat transmission did explode on this. We've got the new one here, new. It's out of a 2018, but new to us, I guess. Only 54,000 miles on this, and we purchased it from LKQ, but you'll notice there's no torque converter. We're at a standstill currently because I am waiting. I shipped off the torque converter that came from this that was exploded. We shipped it off to Circle D, so they're rebuilding it with a stall in it, and we're waiting for that to arrive, but at the moment I can't put this on. So what I'm doing is just in preparation. You can see I got these nerd safety glasses on. I am going to push compressed air through our transmission cooler lines, and I have this clear little bucket here. And I'm just making sure that there's no, no shavings or anything in that, or any freckles or anything of that sort, or glitter. I want to make sure that that's completely clear and clean, so that anything, potentially when we put the new transmission in, that way we're good to go. One thing is, some people recommend replacing the transmission cooler, but it's not a standalone unit. Otherwise, I probably would. It's about $1,000 for the transmission cooler because it's integrated with the supercharger cooler on this. So it's ridiculously expensive to replace. So instead, I'm just gonna put compressed air through it. We'll force out the old fluid, and we'll get over here. There is a thermostat on this, but I did just put compressed air on it, and it does seem to force the fluid through. So I was a little bit, I was kind of wondering whether we would have to, go around the thermostat, but it does seem to be passing fluid through it. So I'm gonna keep that process. We'll put air on it, and you guys can see that. I'll show you. Here is the two lines that go into the transmission. So putting air through it, and fluid is coming out the opposite end. So I'm gonna keep doing that. We'll get as much out as we can, and then we'll see what we got. Okay guys, well, I got a bunch of fluid out of here, and I do not see anything other than the bugs that have landed in it since I started doing this. Since it's at nighttime, there's bugs flying around. There's no sparkles, no nothing. This fluid's originally green. Looks a little bit dark, but got it all out at least. And yeah, no sparkles in it, so we're good there. Like I said, if this was, completely covered in glitter, we would definitely have an issue, but it's good, and I'm happy to say that it's all coming out clean. So I think we can move on from that, but I have a whole lot of cleaning to do. As you can see, our Hooker Blackheart headers here, they've got some of that staining on it, so I'm gonna go ahead and clean those off as well. We also got to fix this, and I got the material to do that, so we will get started on that as well. All right, so I just bagged those up, and I'm gonna clean this up. If you guys are wondering what I was using to clean that mess off there, I was using oven cleaner. I'll show you guys. So nothing fancy, literally just the cheapest oven cleaner you could find, this fume-free one. And I was using that with steel wool, and that's what's taking everything off of there. So my logic behind this was, it's designed to take off baked on oil and grease. So it's exactly what we got here on both sides. So you guys see the way it looks now, and then watch in just a few seconds, I'll apply this, kind of let it rest, and just agitate it with the steel wool. Well, check it out, you guys. So much better looking. If you guys remember how baked on that stuff was and nasty looking. Same thing with this side. Looking awesome. So what I'm gonna do next, I just finished, if there's any good that came out of this, it completely, I don't think I'll ever have to undercoat the underside of this truck. Everything looks so sparkly clean with all this undercoating that we just got. Pretty expensive undercoating, but you can even see the tank is immaculate looking all of a sudden. Like, it looks so fresh back here all of a sudden. So like I said, if there's anything good out of it, it's that. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna remove, or at least cut this section. I think I might just cut this and put a new patch in here. So I think I'm just gonna cut this off clean here, and then I'll just double layer it here. It's probably better just to double up on it, but obviously this portion got wrecked. So I'm gonna cut this. I got more material here. and I'm gonna stick a new patch right here, just so that that is ready to go once we're ready to go with the transmission. So there we go. Let's cut a nice square out of this, and I'm gonna clean that up so that it sticks, and then we'll put a new piece all across here. So here we are with the heat tape, and if you guys are curious, I'll link in the description below where you can get this stuff. There you go. I'll link it. It says it deflects up to 2,000 degrees. It will deflect heat, so it's insulated and it's reflective. So let me slap this thing on there. Okay guys, so we got the insulation here now. We got the old junk off, so that's pretty much it for now, and we'll continue in the morning. All right, so it's the next day, you guys, and today is Thursday, and this Sunday is August 1st. Roadkill Nights is on the 14th, but I have to be there on the 13th. So that means we pretty much have, like, I have to leave next weekend, like next Sunday. So I have a little bit over 1 week to get this thing in order. So stress levels are pretty high right now. I'm trying to debate right now. I still don't have a torque converter at the moment, and I'm trying to decide if I should scramble to get a stock one, or if I cross my fingers and hope that the one from Circle D arrives. So that's where I'm at right now. I really can't decide which way to go, but I still have a few other things to do. So I'm gonna try to decide that hopefully by the end of this video, and by the end of today, what direction I'm gonna go with that. If you guys recall, I was having a bit of starting issues when the engine was hot, so when it was heat soaked, and that's kind of when the starter and the engine and the compression is the highest, so that's when the starting demands are going to be the highest. But if you guys remember this setup here, so there's a fuse box that is inside the cab, and on that fuse box, normally that fuse box would be beside the rear battery. I moved it forward and I joined it off of this junction, but what I'm going to do actually is remove that and take that battery, or that cable, all the way back to the battery, so that it has its own separate run. So I'm not sure if that might be part of the reason, but I want to eliminate that as possible cause. So I'm going to swing that cable to the back, and we'll put that back there. So just one of the things that I was thinking of as far as possible causes. So instead of sharing that one cable all the way forward, it's going to have its own dedicated one to each fuse box, which it originally had. Don't know if that's gonna necessarily be the issue, but I think it's worth eliminating. So like I said, I'm gonna swing that one cable back, and hopefully it reaches to the battery, because it goes from inside the cab and to here. So it looks like it should reach, but we'll find out in a second. All right, well, we got a little bit of luck on our side, you guys. So it does look like that power cable is going to reach. So here's the one going to the front to the engine harness. And that's the original factory, just in case anybody's just stopping by to this build and they haven't been following the whole series. This is the original Hellcat wire. So this is from the charger, and it went from the battery all the way to the front fuse box, and to the alternator, and to the engine harness. And then this one is going up into our cab, into our fuse box that was originally next to the battery in the trunk of the Hellcat. So we're running this dedicated wire to the back. I'm just gonna dress it in. I gotta get some loom in a couple places, like here, where it's gonna pass through, and then it's gonna join this one. So part of the thing is, this one is inside the frame rail coming from the front. This one I'm gonna cross over and join it right here. So, but I do want to put some protective loom around it, similar to how you see I've done here in various places where I think that it could use it. So we're gonna do the same thing here. Put that protective loom where it kind of dances through this frame rail, and then it will join this one and go all the way to the back to our cutoff switch. And look at this. So this Dakota, it has a boxed frame up until halfway through the truck, and then it's open in the back, and there's chunks of the transmission sitting inside the frame rail all throughout here. So probably gonna have to clean that up a little bit, but pretty crazy, you guys. I don't know, just can't believe that happened. But anyways, let's keep working on some stuff. Like I said, I'm gonna get this dressed in, and I'll show you guys what I got. All right guys, so more good news. I managed to get that to reach to the back. So it comes down here now, follows through. Like I said, put some loom in the appropriate places where it passes through. We got it mounted up there with a P-clamp, and then it comes over here again mounted with a P-clamp and goes over to there. So that means since I bought a 4-pole switch, I can turn off both circuits, which is actually ideal because the one that's inside the truck, it also, like that fuse box powers the fuel pump. So that means when I hit this kill switch, it should kill the truck. Whereas before, when everything was kind of merged, I think it had the potential for the alternator to keep powering the inside fuse box. And if that was the case, then if it would power the inside fuse box, it would keep the fuel pump running. So if all goes as planned, when I kill this kill switch, it should do what it's supposed to do, which is just kill the ignition. It should just shut the truck down, which is what you need out of a kill switch. Some guys will end up running like a separate wire, which is what I got the 4-pole to their alternator or some sort of, you know, power cutoff, so it'll actually shut the ignition down so that the alternator stops generating power. So there's kind of 2 different ways of doing it. Hopefully this ends up working. I did have to order 2 more lugs, so I didn't have these massive lugs that we crimped on here before. So I need 2 more just so that I can make this wire. So this one, as you can see here, this is going to go to that side, so that will go on there. And then I need 1 more to go over to the battery. So I'm going to run 2 of these big ones over to the battery so that we have 2 complete circuits with this large gauge going to each one. And I don't think there should be any restrictions on the positive side. So if we have to add a few extra ground straps, it's not gonna be a big deal, but our positive circuit should be 110%. So that pretty much covers that. I'll show you guys one other thing. You guys saw that I did put this on here, but just as soon as I put it on here, and it's kind of a shame because this is expensive stuff, the old stuff, I don't know if it's because it's just saturated with oil, but it is letting go and not sticking. So I'm gonna try in one more attempt. And like I said, this stuff is not cheap, you guys, so it's kind of annoying that it's doing this, but this has to come off. And what I'm gonna do is just completely remove this section, or cut out a little bit more, I should say. And I'm gonna have to re-stick this back on, unless I just put spray adhesive and just send it on there. I might do that because this stuff is not cheap. But anyways, I ended up pulling some of that and coming off. So I'm gonna try to, maybe I'll throw this back up there one more time, trace this, and then I'll put it back up there with some spray glue. If not, I'm just gonna use another piece, but battling having this thing staying up here at the moment. But I will show you guys one other thing, but let me finish this one part. Okay, that worked out beautifully, you guys. So I took that off, and I mean, the insulation part of it was good. It was just having some issues sticking to this. I think this got kind of saturated with oil. But anyways, I ended up just spraying a bunch of this Gorilla Glue on there. It's spray-on glue, same as we use the headliner. And we got this whole chunk in here nice. So it's a whole new section. It's right to the metal, and I cleaned off the actual metal with brake clean and everything. So hopefully that sticks. Let's swap out these 2 brackets. These brackets even got bent, you guys. I don't know if you guys can see that wave or hear me over top of the guy going crazy with the leaf blower outside, but these got bent. So let me swap out these 2 brackets so we're ready to go. There's so much oil trapped behind this plate, you guys. It just keeps dripping out of it everywhere. So this one side of the plate is off, and I gotta do the same with this thing. We'll swap it. Look at how much oil just started running out of this plate. It just started dripping everywhere as soon as I loosened the bolts. So hopefully you guys can see, this is the new Hooker Blackheart transmission Crossmember. So the bottom 2 are the new ones, and these are the ones that are coming out. So you can see, hopefully, I know it's all black and hard to see, but this is way bent down and down as well. So we're gonna put in these. We got passenger, we got driver, and then that'll get us back into position. We got the new brackets on here. So they're both on tight, ready to go. Couple other things. I'm probably gonna have to, I don't know that this necessarily affects the O2 sensor, but kind of the casing on here got this slight little nick in it. The wire is okay, but I'm gonna probably take it off the other Hellcat motor because I don't need this to be giving us a faulty reading. Like I said, it might still be okay, but I don't want to chance it just yet since we know we got things to do and places to go. So that's all ready to go. I'll show you guys this just quickly. A lot of guys were asking about the play. So this is, I do recall that, like, obviously I would have when I connected the drive shaft, if it was as sloppy as you guys saw the this yoke on the transmission that failed, if it was as sloppy as it looked, I would have obviously noticed it. But you can see there's a tiny little bit of play in this, but apparently this is normal. We talked to a few different transmission guys, and it's supposed to have a tiny bit of play in it, like you can see here, but not excessive like the other way or the other one that we were seeing. But again, we don't know if it got, you know, that much play, but you know, in the damage or in the event that happened. So this one should be good to go. And one other thing, like I mentioned earlier, I was debating, do I wait for our built converter to come back, or do I try to find another one? So I did just purchase a used converter out of a Hellcat, so hopefully that shows up, should be here in a few days. That way we have that as our insurance policy, so that I can hopefully get this all ready to go, because we are really going to be cutting it close, you guys. Like I said, today's Thursday. I have to leave probably, because it's like something crazy, like 2,300 miles from here, from the West Coast all the way to Michigan, which is 2,300 miles. I think it's like 36 hours to get there. So just know that I'm putting in the work, you guys. Definitely doesn't come easy, but definitely putting in the work to make sure that we can get there. I'm also going to try and do some other stuff. So I think I'm probably almost at a mechanical standstill, waiting for those crimps to come on, those lugs, so we can finish up our battery stuff. And then I might start playing with the door panels and see if I can get something sorted out over the weekend while I wait for the converter to show up. So I should have that stock converter Monday, and if that shows up Monday, then I can probably pop this transmission in here. And I think I also should have the new drive shaft. We're getting the one made out of aluminum from John's Drive Lines, so we're gonna have the aluminum one by Monday as well. So latest Monday I'll have the converter, stock converter for now, and I will have the drive shaft. I might also get word whether the other converter is going to be ready. If I get notification that that thing's on its way, then I'll hold out like a day or two for our converter that's going to have that stall built in. But at least if I don't get that confirmation on Monday that's, you know, the built converter's on its way, then I can just slap in the stock one and we can get moving here. So it's going to do it for this video. I'm going to kind of give you guys like a daily update, since there's a lot happening very quickly here and a lot going on in order to get this ready for Roadkill nights. So if you guys enjoy this content, make sure you give a thumbs up before you take off. Hit the subscribe button. Also check out the playlist on how we built this truck, and I'll see you guys on the next video.